أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد، حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد، وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وصحابته المنتجبين، واللعن الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا ابن رسول الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة، ويا باب نجاة الأمة، ويا عبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة، يا مظلوم يا غريب يا شهيد كربلاء، يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد كرمنا بني آدم وحملناهم في البر والبحر ورزقناهم من الطيبات وفضلناهم على كثير ممن خلقنا تفضيلا. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. A second for the love of Imams al-Hassan and al-Hussein. A third for the love of Fatemah al-Zahra with your loudest voices. As the years are passing, humans are advancing technologically. When it comes to communication, we have reached the peak. Just a few days ago, Apple introduced the new iPhones. When it comes to communication, every year we're introducing the latest technology, the newest technology. Now you could see people across the globe within seconds. Previously, several decades ago, if someone were to travel across the globe, you wouldn't hear from them until they returned many months later. Now you can contact anyone and see them live as if they're sitting next to you. We're advancing technologically. When it comes to transportation, we can fly around the globe within minutes. Within hours, you can arrive from one continent to another continent. I remember once I had to go and bring my mother from Kuwait. I was in Iraq, I went to go to Kuwait, and there wasn't a direct flight. In one night, I went from Karbala to Baghdad, and I flew from Baghdad to Qatar, from Qatar to Kuwait, and there wasn't a direct flight back. So I flew from Kuwait to Bahrain, Bahrain to Najaf, Najaf to Karbala. I saw 5 airports all in one night. This was unheard of previously. And just a couple of decades ago, this was unheard of. But now this is possible. You could all do this all in one night. You could visit many countries, several countries, all in one night. We're advancing. Our homes, our buildings, we have the largest buildings. We have skyscrapers. We have the largest airports. We're driving the nicest cars. We have the largest factories. However, as we are advancing technologically, for everything there's a price. Nothing comes for free. As we advance technologically, who's paying the price? One of the prices that we're paying for is the environment. We're destroying our environment. Year after year, global warming is becoming worse. It's becoming worse. The earth is becoming warmer. And we just saw in the summer, I'm sure that for those of you that have lived here in Albany for 25 years, 30 years, I'm sure that every year the summers are becoming warmer. Correct? This is applicable to everywhere in the world, not just here in Albany. The world is becoming warmer. In Europe, previously, Europeans did not need air conditionings, especially in the UK and Germany. Now, you can't go to Germany, you can't go to the UK or in Germany in the summer without having an AC. This shows you that there is global warming. This is true. This is not fake news. This is real. The world is becoming warmer. There's pollution. Some of the cities, some of the world's largest cities and most populated cities, there's always pollution. For example, city of Los Angeles in California. You will rarely see Los Angeles on a clear day without smog on a beautiful day. There's always smog from pollution. Isn't this ruining the environment? Isn't this destroying people's health? Isn't it causing people cancer and other illnesses that we didn't have before? Last year we saw here in the United States of America several hurricanes. One of them, Hurricane Irma. And we saw the wildfires in California. This year we have Hurricane Florence. That's happening right now as I speak. South Carolina, North Carolina. They're flooded. Millions of people have evacuated. According to CNN, 15 people have already died. Why is this happening? Why do we have so many hurricanes that are occurring more often? It's because of the pollution that we have, because of global warming, because of the factories that we have, because of the technology that we have. These things didn't exist before. Even the wildfires in California, previously, it was once every couple of years, once every... Now, anytime you go to California, there's a wildfire. Anytime you go to California, there's a wildfire. What's the explanation for this? It's because of technology. It's because of what's happening. Right? We're advancing in one way, technologically, when it comes to communication, when it comes to transportation, but at the cost of what? At the cost of the environment. We're ruining the environment with this pollution, with all these factories. It's all taking a toll. And what's the worst part? What's the worst part? We have a stable, genius president that denies global warming, that denies climate change. The entire world is saying there's climate change, there's global warming, this is all affecting us. The president says, no, this is a hoax. This is fake. This is non-existent. Of course, why? For political reasons. This is an economic matter. Because there's certain companies that have factories here in the United States. If you accept global warming, you have to put restrictions on these companies and factories. And these are the companies and factories that help them get elected. So what's the best thing to do? Is deny global warming. Deny climate change. This is a problem. And things are not getting better. Things are not improving. Things are going to get worse and worse every day. Every day we're going to see more hurricanes, more tornadoes, more wildfires. The world is becoming warmer. Every year summer is going to be worse. Where places in which they never thought of even owning an AC, now they have to have an AC. I was in the UK in the summer. None of the hotels have air conditionings. That tells you that previously their weather was good. Otherwise, why wouldn't they have air conditionings? Now they have to. Now they have to install in every home, in every mosque, in every hotel, air conditionings in Europe. Greece this year in the summer. The wildfires that happened in Greece and the dozens of people that died. We're ruining this planet. Our factories, our companies, our pollution, our technology that's helping us on one side, but on the other side it's ruining our planet. It's destroying our environment. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Having said this, there are many Westerners, there are many advocacy groups, there are many individuals that are working to save the planet, to save the environment. There are many lobbyists that work to put an end to such factories, to put an end to such technology that is destroying our environment. There's lots of groups that are lobbying in DC, at the United Nations, in New York, in London. But what's interesting is that you don't see Muslims speaking up. Where are the Muslim advocacy groups that are fighting for the planet and fighting for the environment and calling for preserving the environment? Where? Do you see any Muslim groups? No. It's always Westerners or non-Muslims. You don't see a Muslim advocacy group that fights for animal rights or plant rights or the planet's, the protection of the planet, the protection of the coral reef and our oceans, against the oil companies that dump their oil in the ocean and kill thousands and thousands of whales and sharks and other animals. You don't see Muslims speaking. Unfortunately, we have an image that Islam is about worship. Islam only tells us to pray 5 times a day, to fast during the month of Ramadan, to go to Hajj and Dhul Hijjah, and that's it. Islam has nothing else to offer. This is the biggest mistake. Islam was the first to speak out against environmental change. Islam was the first to promote preserving the environment, to protect our planet. But we don't know. We think the masses believe that Islam is only promoting pray 5 times a day, fast, be a good person, and that's it. But if you wanted to ruin the planet, you could ruin the planet. You could do whatever you want. No, this is a mistake. Tonight, inshallah, we will see that our fiqh system has the principles, is comprehensive enough to forbid from harming the environment. Our fiqh forbids us from harming the environment and promotes saving the environment. This is what we shall see in the next couple of minutes in our lecture. Wa sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. First of all, let's come to the Quran, the basis of our faith. Our number one guide and our number one source. The Quran tells us that Allah Azza wa Jal created the environment, created the planet, in fact, created the universe for human beings. It is at our disposal. It is for us. This world, this planet, and everything in it, it was created for us, for our leisure, for our benefit, for our entertainment. هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا. Everything on this planet, animals, plants, trees, oceans, rivers, this is all at the disposal of human beings. Look at how much Allah has spoiled us, and look how ungrateful we are towards Allah. Allah has provided us so much entertainment for us, and look how human beings are ungrateful. وَالْأَرْضَ وَضَعَهَا للأنام in Surah Al-Rahman. وَالْأَرْضَ وَضَعَهَا لِلْأَنَامِ. That this planet was created for humans, for Allah's creation. It's our disposal. Now when someone gives you a gift, any gift, if it's a small gift, are you supposed to take care of that gift or not? You have to treasure this gift. Take care of this gift. Allah is telling us that He gave us this planet as a gift. He put it on a platter and He gave it to us. Should we destroy it? In another verse, Allah says that we made you responsible over this planet. هُوَ أَنْشَأَكُم مِّنَ الْأَرْضِ وَاسْتَعْمَرَكُمْ فِيهَا. وَاسْتَعْمَرَكُم, what does this mean? Ista'marakum is that He made you in charge of this planet. He made you responsible for this planet. Build it, but build it nicely. Don't destroy it. Keep it safe. Keep it clean. Keep it organized. Ista'marakum fiha. Allah gave us this planet for us to take care of. And not just for ourselves. We shouldn't be selfish. We're human beings, we're selfish. We come and we destroy villages. We bring down trees. We destroy the ocean. We do all of this. We think temporarily for our generation. Well, but what about future generations? What about my children and your children? What about my grandchildren and your grandchildren? What sort of planet are we giving them? A planet empty of trees? A planet with polluted oceans and polluted rivers and polluted skies? What sort of planet are we offering our children? Allah Azza wa Jalla Muhammad. Allah in several verses says, do not corrupt the earth and do not corrupt the planet. Some, we take this meaning to mean, don't be bad people, be good people. But this verse has bigger meanings as well. It could have several meanings. Corruption, fasad, can mean moral fasad, moral corruption. It could also be physical fasad, physical corruption. When you destroy the planet by pollution and by factories, this is also fasad. وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. It is better for you. Do not corrupt the planet. That is better for you. Is it better for us to have a clean planet or a destroyed planet? Why is it that year after year cancer rates are rising? Is it not because of pollution? Is it not because of these environmental changes? Is it not due to these factories? We're advancing technologically, but we're destroying our health. The Quran says that there are some people, they come onto earth, they destroy the planet. They destroy plants, they destroy animals. وَإِذَا تَوَلَّى سَعَى فِي الْأَرْضِ لِيُفْسِدَ فِيهَا وَيُهْلِكَ الْحَرْثَ وَالنَّسْلَ. Some people, they come to destroy everything. وَيُهْلِكَ الْحَرْث, to destroy plants. وَالنَّسْلَ, and to destroy populations. Animals, and we're also part of the animal kingdom. Animals, humans. So people come and they destroy. Not necessarily by bringing guns, machine guns, and killing people, no. But through their factories, through their gigantic companies, they destroy the lives of millions by destroying the planet. The Quran says, speak out. Speak out against the corruption, whether it's moral corruption or physical corruption. فَلَوْلَا كَانَ مِنَ الْقُرُونِ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ أُولُو بَقِيَّةٍ يَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْفَسَادِ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Those that forbid from corruption on earth. How many advocacy groups do you see of Muslims that are against environmental changes, against global warming, against companies that destroy the planet? How many? None, unfortunately. Others are doing the job. We see non-Muslims doing the job. They fight for the planet. They fight for the oceans. They fight for the coral reefs. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah. How many Muslims do you see? None, unfortunately. While it is our Quran that encourages saving the planet. Now it's only logical that we have to speak out. If you're on a flight and you saw someone trying to open the emergency door during the flight. If they open the door, what's going to happen? The flight is going to fall. The plane is going to fall. It's going to crash. Are you just going to sit there and put on your safety belt and continue watching the movie that you're watching? No, you're going to say something. You're going to jump up and stop. If you're riding a ship and someone's trying to sink the ship, you're going to sit idly. You're going to speak out. But this is what's happening now. Our environment, our planet is being destroyed while we argue over petty issues. Petty issues. Small issues in the community. There's a problem here, there's a problem there. We worry over petty issues while our environment is being destroyed. Our planet is being destroyed. I don't know, will our children and our grandchildren, are they going to be able to enjoy planet Earth? Are they going to see the beautiful scenes that we saw? Or this is all going to go? You know, in California, there's a park called Yosemite. Yosemite National Park. Yosemite National Park, it attracts hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in the summer. And there were beautiful waterfalls. I've been there. The most beautiful waterfalls. Now, the past couple of years, if you go to Yosemite Park in the summer, there's no waterfalls. There's no waterfalls. There's even lack of rain. California, for the past couple of years, has been suffering from droughts. There's no rain. Why? Is it a coincidence? This is all due to these manufacturing companies and due to all of this pollution that we're ruining the environment. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. This is regarding the Quran. As for Ahlul Bayt, we see Ahlul Bayt, they gave us a lot of guidelines on how to protect and preserve the environment. For example, we have narrations that tell us do not cut trees. Don't cut trees. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi was recorded saying, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. لا تقطعوا الثمار فيصب الله عليكم العذاب صبا. Do not cut trees. Do not cut plants. I remember a month and a half ago I was in California. There were major wildfires in California. The President of the United States had an advice. How to get rid of wildfires? Cut the trees. If you cut the trees, no more fires. Can you believe it? To cut the trees? To cut millions of trees? Is this logical? Is this logical advice? Imam Ali alayhi salam, to this degree, he would flip the soil. When he would see old soil, he would flip it. He would bring the fertile soil up on top so that it becomes more fertile. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he would eat a date, he would keep the seed. He wouldn't throw away the seed. He would moisten the seed with his mouth and then put it in the ground. And that seed would become a tree. They taught us, instead of cutting trees, they taught us how to plant trees and to take care of the soil, to take care of these trees. Imam Ali alayhi salam says that on the day of judgment, among the things that you will be asked about, let alone our actions, our deeds, we will be asked about even the mountains and animals. What did we do to this mountain? What did we do to this tree? What did we do to these animals? اتقوا الله في عباده, he says, وبلاده فإنكم مسؤولون حتى عن البقاع والبهائم. Allah on the day of judgment will ask us even about animals. What did we do to animals? Our birds, our cats, our pets will be asked on the day of judgment. And on mountains, regarding mountains and trees, Allah will ask us on the day of judgment, what did we do to the environment? Rasulullah would forbid his companions and armies, you know, when they would wage a war or fight, and mostly it was defensive battles and wars. They would go to a land and they would fight. Rasulullah, you know, one of the military tactics, in order to get rid of your enemy, you would pour poison on their land, in their grass, and that poison, it would destroy their lands. It would destroy their plants. It would destroy their trees and agriculture. Rasulullah tell them no. You don't pour poison anywhere. First of all, this is inhumane. Two, why do you punish the environment? Why do you punish the trees and the plants and the vegetables and the fruits for the crimes of human beings? Why? Look at the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Previously, people didn't have toilets. They didn't have bathrooms. Today we have bathrooms. This is a new invention. I remember my father, my parents, they say in Iraq, to take a shower, we didn't have showers at home. We had to go to public showers. Today in every house there's at least 3-4 bathrooms and showers. Previously this didn't exist. So there were teachings where to go and, So the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt, they had teachings. There are certain areas that needed to be avoided. For example, around mosques, around rivers and canals. Don't go and, perform your hajjah in those places. Farms and green areas, avoid those places. Around homes and residential areas. Streets and roads. Running waters. Don't go and relieve yourself in a running water. Or still water. Well, one, this is harmful for others. You'll be harming people. And two, you'll be destroying the environment. We are asked to keep the environment clean. So from that day, Islam was teaching people to be clean and to clean the environment as well. Not just personal hygiene, but cleanliness for the environment as well. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. When we read the Quran, we see that Allah Azza wa Jal tells us He created everything in a balance. Subhanallah. The amount of humans, the amount of animals, the amount of trees, the amount of plants, vegetables, fruits. This is all in a balance. It's perfectly in a balance. We read in Surah Al-Rahman, وَالسَّمَاءَ رَفَعَهَا وَوَضَعَ الْمِيزَانَ أَلَّا تَطْغَوْا فِي الْمِيزَانِ وَأَقِيمُوا الْوَزْنَ بِالْقِسْطِ وَلَا تُخْسِرُوا الْمِيزَانَ. There's a balance. Mizan means a balance. That Allah created the sky and created the earth with a balance. Everything, there's a balance. The amount of trees is proportionate to the amount of humans. The amount of animals is proportionate to the amount of trees. The amount of trees is proportionate, and so on and so forth. The amount of trees, humans, animals, plants, vegetables, everything is proportionate. There's a balance. Allah says, "La tatghaw fil mizan." Don't ruin this balance. When you ruin this balance, you will be affected. When we cut down trees, we will be affected. When we destroy farms and we make those areas into residential areas, animals will be affected. And when animals are affected, we are affected. And so on and so forth. There's a balance. That balance has to be, it's a supply and demand. When we destroy one part, there'll be a greater demand. And the less supply, the greater demand. And the balance will be ruined. قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. Allah has set for everything a precise precision. Everything has a set number. We humans, we come in, as they say here in America, we try to play God. We destroy this, we destroy that. This is a mistake. وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا عَنْدَنَا خَزَائِنُهُ وَمَا نُنَزِّلُهُ إِلَّا بِقَدَرٍ مَعْلُومٍ. Allah knows exactly how much there should be of everything. Of plants, of trees. We human beings, we come in and we destroy this. When we destroy the balance, we'll be affected. We'll be affected. In Islam, we have a principle called no harm. لا ضرر ولا ضرار في الإسلام. Last year, during the month of Ramadan, I gave an entire lecture on this principle. Where did it come from? And how we benefit from this principle. This is a Fiqhi jurisprudential maxim that scholars have taken hundreds of laws just from this principle. لا ضرر ولا ضرار في الإسلام. And several jurists have written about this principle, including Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani. No harm in Islam. No harm. This is general. You cannot harm yourself. There are some scholars that say no, la darar. It includes yourself as well. So anything that is harmful, even to yourself, is forbidden. So some scholars, they refer to this hadith to say smoking is forbidden. So you can't harm yourself. You can't harm others. You can't harm other individuals. And you can't harm the environment as well. لا ضرر في الإسلام. There is no harm in Islam. This is so general that it includes the environment as well. To come and trash the environment, trash the rivers and running water, cars and factories that cause heavy pollution. This is all harm. This is all destructive. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The Quran also tells us not to waste. وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُسْرِفِينَ. And do not waste. Allah does not like those who waste. وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينَ. Do not be wasteful. Those who waste are the brothers of shaitan. Look at how we waste. Look at how we waste our resources. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us these resources for us to enjoy, for us to benefit from. We come and we ruin them. Isn't this a waste of resources? A waste of trees, a waste of clean rivers, clean water. It's a waste. You know, in some countries, they benefit from rain. They know how to preserve rain. Here in the West, here in America, rain is very precious because this rain is clean water, pure water. That's why they have dams to preserve rainwater. In some of our countries, in the Middle East, they don't preserve rainwater. Rain comes and goes and no one preserves this water. And then there's a problem. I'm sure you heard about the problem in Basra. Lack of water, lack of clean water. If we knew how to preserve and we hadn't let rainwater go to waste, would we have a problem? Would we have a crisis? No. But we waste our resources. One day Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi saw one of his companions, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He saw one of his companions by the name of Sa'd performing wudu with a lot of water. With a lot of water, more than he needs. Rasulullah told him, hold on a second. Why are you using so much water for wudu? You know, I've seen some people, they go to perform wudu, it's like they're taking a shower. You don't need to waste that much water for wudu. They go, their wudu, it takes 15 minutes. Why? Wudu takes 2 minutes. 3 minutes maximum. You don't need to spend and waste so much water. And I've seen some people, when they go perform wudu, they keep the faucets running. They keep the faucet running. In the winter, they waste hot water. Why? Rasulullah looked on Sa'd and he said, لِمَاذَا تُسْرِفْ يَا سَعْدٍ فِي الْمَاءِ? Why are you wasting this water? Sa'd was shocked. He said, وَهَلْ فِي الْمَاءِ إِسْرَافٍ? Is there wasting of water? Rasulullah said, نَعَمْ وَإِن كُنْتَ عَلَى نَهْرٍ جَارٍ. Even if you were on a running river, don't waste that water. Subhanallah. A running river, it's not finishing. Don't waste the water. This is resources. You could use it for something else. Rasulullah saw a group of children. They would pick out fruits from the tree. They would eat half of it and throw the other half. Rasulullah scolded them. He lectured them. He told them, Subhanallah, in kuntum istaghnaytum, فَإِنَّ النَّاسَ لَمْ يَسْتَغْنُوا أَطْعِمُوهُ مَنْ يَحْتَاجُ إِلَيْهِ. If you are full, others are not full. Don't throw it away. Even if you eat half of a fruit, keep the other half. Someone might need it. Someone might eat it. You are full, but others are not full. Islam is against wasting. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, أدنى الإسراف حراقة فضل الإناء وإلقاء النوى. He says those who drink half of a cup of water and the other half they pour it. This is wasting. According to Imam Sadiq, this is wasting. You're wasting this water. And also an example of wasting is eating a fruit and throwing the seed. This is wasting. Why throw away the seed? Go and plant it. Go and plant it in your backyard, in your front yard. Throwing away a seed, this is wasting. Preserve the environment. Build trees. Make trees. Plant trees. Instead of destroying trees, let's plant trees. It's good for us. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. As for animal rights, I see people, they fight for animal rights. There are animals that are extinct. There are groups, advocacy groups, that fight for animals that are going extinct, but not Muslims. Muslims remain quiet. While our Quran, our Ahadith, our Ahlul Bayt, they fought for animal rights. Look at the Quran. وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ. There's not an animal on earth. وَلَا طَائِرٌ يَطِيرُ بِجَنَاحَيْهِ. And not a single bird that flies with its two wings. إِلَّا أُمَمٌ أَمْثَالِكُمْ. They are nations just like you. Just like we humans, we are nations, so are animals. They are nations. مَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ ثُمَّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ يُحْشَرُونَ. Animals will be resurrected on the Day of Judgment. To do what? An animal will come and will say, my Lord, this individual hurt me. This individual abused me. This individual did not give me my rights. This individual did not feed me. There was a scholar who passed away in his youth. Sayyid Muhammad Rida Shirazi, rahmatullah alayh. Maybe some of you know him. Maybe some of you even met him. I don't know. They say that in his house, he lived in Qom, they had a problem of ants. There was a lot of ants. His family wanted to bring, what do you call it? Raid or whatever, to destroy the ants. He said, no. Just like we live in this house, ants live in this house. They also live with us in the house. He refused to hurt ants. This is the teachings of Islam. That we don't even hurt animals. I see on Twitter sometimes pictures of these crazy people. They go and hunt giraffes and they take pictures and they smile. Have you seen that on social media? They take a picture with a huge giraffe, a beautiful animal. Why would you kill that animal? And they take a picture, a selfie with a giraffe, a dead giraffe. Or with a tiger, they're carrying a tiger, a dead tiger. If you're brave, you'd carry that tiger when it's alive, not when it's dead. And they take a selfie for people to like and retweet. You kill an animal for a couple of likes and retweets? What will you answer God on the Day of Judgment? Islam frowns upon this. Fuqaha tell us that if you had water enough only to drink or for wudu, which should you do? Perform wudu and go thirsty, or drink the water and perform tayammum? All scholars say perform tayammum. You don't need to perform wudu. Drink water. Some say no, not just you, your animal. If you have a horse, your water is enough only for your horse to drink, or you perform wudu. Which one is more important? Scholars say feed your animal and you go do tayammum. Don't do wudu. Save your animal. Let your animal drink water. You go and do wudu. You go and do tayammum. Because wudu has a replacement. There's tayammum. But an animal cannot be replaced. This is a life that will be taken away. Rasulullah would tell us the rights of animals. I mentioned this a couple of nights ago when we talked about superstition. Animals have rights. 1, you feed it whenever you stop. 2, you give it water whenever you see water. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Islam teaches us to feed animals, let alone human beings. Islam teaches us to quench the thirst of animals, let alone human beings. Don't sit on its face. Don't hit it on its face. Don't stand on its back. Don't put weight on it more than it can handle. And don't let it walk more than it could handle. These are Islamic traditions. These are animal rights in Islam. Another hadith by Rasulullah that says, do not harm animals. Allah will punish those that harm animals. And we should forgive disobedient animals. If you have a disobedient pet, a disobedient animal, forgive them. Forgive that animal. And there's a reward, subhanAllah. There's a reward for those that forgive a disobedient pet and a disobedient animal. Where do you find this other than in Islam? Rasulullah forbade animal fights here in the West. Right? The world's leading civilization. You find cockfights, bullfights, all kinds of fights. They bet on animals fighting, animals killing each other. Islam came and said, no, this is haram. There's no such thing as bullfights or cockfights or animal fights. Just so that you sit and you enjoy animals fighting? No. This is haram. There's no animal fights in Islam. There's no betting on animal fights. This is wrong. This is immoral. Rasulullah says that on the Day of Judgment, a small bird, if you killed a small bird for fun, for leisure, for entertainment, not because you wanted to eat it, that small bird will come on the Day of Judgment and will complain to Allah Azza wa Jal that this person killed me just for the sake of fun. He wanted to have a good time. A small bird will complain on the Day of Judgment. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. This is animals. How about plants and trees? In Islam, even plants and trees have rights. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that he who gives water to plants is equivalent to quenching the thirst of a human being. Can you believe it? Just giving water to a plant. من سقى طلحة أو سدرا. These are two kinds of trees. طلحة and sidr. Sidr is a lotus tree. فكأنما سقى مؤمنا من ظمأ. Not just any human being. It's like quenching the thirst of a mu'min. When you give plants water. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam would say, do not cut trees. You will be punished. فيصب الله عليكم العذاب صبا لا تقطعوا الثمار فيصب الله عليكم العذاب صبا. Do not cut trees, otherwise Allah will punish you. And it's logical. One form of punishment is that when we cut these trees provide us with what? With what? Oxygen. They provide us with oxygen. When we cut trees, we will reduce the amount of oxygen that we have, and that is a punishment of its own. That's a punishment of its own. Trees are good to have. We should plant trees and not cut trees. First of all, we need them for oxygen. We need them to provide us clean air. We need them for beauty and scenery. That is why, when you go to a hospital, when there's someone ill, you take them flowers. It's been psychologically proven that when you take flowers to someone who's ill, they'll feel better. They'll feel better. ثلاثة يجلين الهم الماء والخضراء والوجه الحسن. Three things remove the sadness from our heart. This is a hadith. Trees, greenery, trees. والماء, water, especially if it's running water. والوجه الحسن, a beautiful face. Three things that remove the sorrow and sadness from a person's heart. صلى على محمد وعلى محمد. Imam al-Allah says that whenever my father, Imam al-Kadhim, would cut off a tree, he would plant a tree instead. He would plant a tree instead. This is our Islam, my dear brothers and sisters. This is our Islam. Our Islam taught us to preserve the environment, to protect the environment, not to destroy the environment. And we're in need of this at this crucial time when global warming has reached its highest peak. And we have people that are denying global warming. They're denying climate change. We're in need of these teachings. We're in need of teachings to preserve our environment, to preserve animals, to protect animal rights. And who is better than the Ahl al-Bayt? When Al-Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi stopped Imam Hussein outside of Kufa and he did not allow him to come inside Kufa, the army of Hurr were thirsty. Imam Hussein had water. His army had water. When they saw the dry lips of the army of Al-Hurr ibn Yazid, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he told his army to give water to the army of Al-Hurr ibn Yazid. They gave him water. You know, this water, if they hadn't given it to Al-Hurr ibn Yazid and it had remained with them to Karbala, they wouldn't have had so much thirst in Karbala. Yet they gave to their own enemies. They gave water. Not just to the army, but even to their horses. Imam Hussein alayhi salam saw one of the soldiers from the other side. He's giving water to his horse, but the water is going to waste. Imam Hussein told him, ضيق فم الركية, tighten the nozzle, so that when the horse drinks, the water doesn't drip, it doesn't go to waste. The man was offended. He thought Imam Hussein is being greedy with his water. Imam told him, go aside. Imam Hussein took the water and he gave water to the horse himself with his blessed hands. These are the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, that you quench the thirst even of an animal. لِكُلِّ كَبِدٍ حَرَّ أَجْرٌ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. When you quench the thirst of any animal, even if it's a cat, even if it's a bird, even if it's an animal, there's a reward with Allah. Now imagine if a human being, Islam encourages us to quench the thirst of an animal. What about a human being? We shouldn't quench the thirst of a human being. What if that human being was the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And what if there was a river next to us and we allow a human being to go thirsty, the grandson of Rasulullah, the only grandson of Rasulullah? We allow him to die thirsty next to a river? As Sayyid Haydar al-Hilli, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in his verses of poetry, he says, ماء الفرات محلل لكلابهم وأنا الذي عن شربه منعوني. It's as if Imam Hussein is speaking. He says, the river of Euphrates is halal for their dogs, but it was this river that they forbade me from drinking. شيعتي مهما شربتم ماء عذب فاذكروني أو سمعتم بقتيل أو شهيد فاندبوني فأنا الصبط الذي من غير جرم قتلوني وبجرد الخيل بعد القتل عمدا سحقوني. Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, my Shia, whenever you drink water, remember me. Whenever you see someone thirsty, remember me. Remember my thirst on Ashura. Remember when I took my child and they refused to give him water. On a night like this, we remember one of the nephews of Aba Abdullah, Al-Qasim ibn al-Hasan. Al-Qasim was a 14-year-old young man, a teenager, who had his entire life ahead of him, who had the aspirations and ambitions of any youth. Yet Al-Qasim wanted to be a martyr at the hands of his uncle Aba Abdullah. On the night of Ashura, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, when he saw loyalty from his companions, he told them that tomorrow we will all become shuhada. Al-Qasim ibn al-Hasan, he said, my uncle Aba Abdullah, am I among the martyrs? Will I have the honor of shahada? Imam Hussein alayhi salam asked him, Bunay, وَكَيْفَ الْمَوْتُ عِنْدَكَ? How do you see death, my dear son? He said, وَاللَّهِ فِي نُصْرَتِكَ أَحْلَى مِنَ الْعَسَلِ. If death is in your support, if dying means supporting you, then death is sweeter than honey. On the day of Ashura, Al-Qasim comes to his uncle asking for permission to fight. Al-Qasim refused. Imam Hussein refuses. Al-Qasim was an orphan. Imam Hussein took him to his house when Al-Qasim was 4 years old, when his father died, Imam Al-Hassan. And for 10 years he was inside the house of Imam Hussein. How could Imam Hussein give him permission to fight? Al-Qasim went. Moments later he came back with a letter from his father, Imam Al-Hassan, addressed to his brother, Imam Hussein. Akhi Aba Abdullah, a day will come in which you will have no supporters and no soldiers. I want my son to be with you and to fight with you. Oh, Aba Abdullah, give him permission to fight. Imam Hussein grabbed Al-Qasim and he hugged him, and they wept and they cried. This was a sign that Imam Hussein gave him permission to enter the battlefield. Imam Hussein bought the turban of Imam Al-Hassan, the sword of Imam Al-Hassan, and he put the turban on the head of Al-Qasim, and he gave him permission. Before entering the battlefield, Al-Qasim went to say farewell to his mother, Ramla. Yabni, Yabni, Yabni. He said his farewell to Ramla. God help the heart of Ramla on that day. How much pain and sorrow she saw and she felt when she saw her son Qasim entering the battlefield. She had the aspirations of any mother. She wanted to see her child grow up, get married, have a family, have a wife and children, but all of her dreams were destroyed on the day of Ashura. Al-Qasim enters the battlefield. إن تنكروني فأنا نجل الحسن صبط النبي المصطفى والمرتهن هذا الحسين كالأسير المرتهن بين أناس لا سقوا صوب المزن. Al-Qasim fights like a warrior until he breaks the lace of his sandal. He kneels to fix his sandal. Hamid ibn Muslim, he was on the other side. He says, we saw a young man, his face was glowing like a moon on the night of its completion. One of the enemy soldiers, he approaches as Al-Qasim kneels. The enemy soldier strikes Al-Qasim on his head. Al-Qasim falls to the ground. Ammah alayka minni salam. My uncle, peace be upon you. Hada jaddi رسول الله قد سقاني بكأسه الأوفى شربة لا أظمأ بعدها أبدا. My uncle, Ya Aba Abdullah, I see my grandfather Rasulullah sitting next to me, and he gave me he quenched my thirst. He gave me a cup of water from paradise. وَلَكَ كَأْسًا أَوْفَى. And there's a cup waiting for you. Imam Hussein rushes to his nephew. يعز على عمك أن تدعوه فلا يجيبك أو يعجبك فلا يعينك أو يعينك فلا يغني عنك شيئا. It is with great regret that you call me, but I cannot reply, or I reply, but I cannot help you. بأسا لقوم قتلوك ومن كان خصمهم يوم القيامة جدك وأبوك. Imam Hussein alayhi salam sits with Qasim until he departs this life. Imam Hussein brings Al-Qasim back to the tent, and he puts him next to his son Ali al-Akbar. Imam Hossein looks one moment at his son Ali al-Akbar and another moment at his nephew al-Qasim, and he weeps and he cries until his sister Zainab comes to him. She says, Akhi Aba Abdullah, Ramla and Layla, they are waiting outside the tent. They want to come and mourn. They want to mourn their children. They want to mourn their sons. But they are embarrassed of you, Ya Aba Abdullah. They cannot cry in front of you. My dear brother, leave the tent so that their mothers can come sit. Ramla and Layla, they come. Ramla sits next to Al-Qasim. And Layla sits next to her son Ali al-Akbar. Ramla shouts, Wa waladah wa Qasima. Layla shouts, Wa waladah wa Aliyah. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. Raise your hands in dua. نسألك اللهم وندعوك باسمك العلي الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم يا الله. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته، ولا هما إلا فرجته، ولا عيبا إلا سترته، ولا خوفا إلا آمنته، ولا رزقا إلا بسطته، ولا شملا إلا جمعته، ولا مرضا إلا شفيته، ولا غائبا إلا حفظته وأدنيته، ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا قضيتها ويسرتها يا أرحم الراحمين. ولأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات والعلماء والشهداء نقرأ سورة